Welcome back to another episode of FineScale Modeler Weekly. I'm Kendra Bell.
And I'm Tim Kidwell. Let's jump right in with the all-new ICM 1/48 scale HP.52 Hampden Mark I bomber. By the 1930s, Britain was looking for replacements for its aging bomber fleet and settled on a trio of twin-engined day bombers, one of which was the handily Page HP.52.
Ungainly looking and uncomfortable to pilot and operate, it flew well, powered by a pair of Bristol Pegasus radial engines, but proved no match for the German aircraft it faced in daytime bombing runs, instead being switched to predominantly nighttime attacks, serving with Bomber Command until September 1942.
Look at you knowing all this about the Hampden. ICM's kit breaks down as you'd expect, starting with deep, narrow fuselage halves. Both sport plenty of molded interior detail, and the exterior represents the flush riveted stressed metal construction with subtle recessed panel lines. Do keep an eye out for small areas of flash you'll need to clean up.
The wings show the fuselage's fine rivets and panel lines. The flaps and ailerons are built separately and added to the wings, but it doesn't appear they can be posed without modification.
If there was a kitchen sink inside this bomber, I'm sure ICM would have thrown it in. You'll find framing, spare pan magazines for the 303 Vickers K machine guns, and a wealth of radio and bombardier equipment, and flight controls and instrumentation.
You can choose to assemble the HP.52 with the bomb bay doors open or closed, and the kit provides GP 250 pound, GP 500 pound, and SAP 250 pound bombs. The two Pegasus engines assemble from 5 parts each. The cowl's leading edge is a single piece, while the skirt is divided into 3 panels. The cowl flaps are posed open.
The kit's 2 clear sprues come separately bagged and wrapped and are jewel clear. Mask templates are provided in the instructions.
The kit provides decals and color marking guides for 4 Hampdens. L4032 Radlett, June 1938, L4085 Waddington, February 1939, L4076 Waddington, September 1939, and P1272 with a torpedo development unit, December 1939.
So the Hampden is an unusual looking aircraft for sure, but I think it will find a place among lovers of World War II British bombers.
Did you know the fuselage is only 3 feet wide? That would be overwhelming.
That would be claustrophobic, and I mean, they did used to call it the flying suitcase, so I guess the name fits. What can we say about the Panzer III that hasn't already been said? It was a medium tank employed by Nazi Germany in support of Panzer IVs. They didn't quite live up to expectations. Production ceased in 1943, but Panzer III chassis went on to be used in a multitude of other fighting vehicles during World War II.
That was a lot of words to say nothing new. However, the new Academy 135th scale German Panzer III Ausf and Afrika Korps is the latest iteration of its Ausf J kit that appeared in 2020. It contains parts in common with both that kit and the Ausf L, plus 2 new small sprues and a different photo-etched metal fret.
Click the link in the description below to read our review of the Academy Panzer III Ausf J. Now, it's important to note from the beginning, this kit offers you the option to build one of 5 different Panzer III tanks, and each one is slightly different from the others.
Yes, the options are 2 different tanks from Schwer Panzerabteilung 501 in Tunisia, 1942 and 1942-43, a Panzer III in Italian service in 1943, another serving in Kursk 1943 with side skirts, and a 5th, again with skirt armor deployed to Kursk 1943.
It's important to decide which version you are building up front because you will encounter callouts throughout your build telling you which options to use where.
Since we seem to be going in reverse from our normal order, the new additions to this kit are the 2 sprues of jerry cans, a photo-etched metal fret different from the Ausf L version, and decals for the Panzer III options listed earlier.
The lower hull builds up from 5 main parts, plus 2 internal bulkheads. An interior is not included. The upper hull and turret are similarly complex. The short barrel 7.5 centimeter KWK-37 L24 main gun and mantlet exhibit similar engineering.
The suspension arms aren't keyed, which gives you some flexibility if you want to pose your model on uneven ground. The multi-part drive sprocket, idler wheel, road wheels, and return rollers are surrounded by Lincoln-length tracks. You'll use 54 or 55 links in the upper run for proper sag.
Fenders, armor, skirts, lights, tools, and plenty of other parts round out this beautifully molded kit. Now, Academy's recent tank kits have been on par with Tamiya in terms of finesse and detail.
I agree. Definitely not quite the ease of assembly Tamiya is known for, but definitely a solid alternative for experienced builders. If you remember, last week we told you we've been receiving a lot of books to share with you. Well, here are 2 more, this time from Osprey Publishing.
That's right, Kendra. First up is RAF Jaguar Units in Combat. This 96-page book covers the use of Jaguar GR1s and GR3s in Iraq for Operations Granby and Warden, and the Balkans for Operations Deny Flight, Vulcan, and Deliberate Guard. Former RAF pilot Michael Napier interviews Jaguar pilots relating their experiences flying the aircraft in action while recounting the fighter's career. Along with photos of Jaguars in operation, Janusz Shaviatwan provides 22 color aircraft profiles and reproductions of nose art. For those of you who have an Italeri, Revell, or Airfix Jaguar or 2 in your stashes, this book just might inspire you to build it.
Our second book is B.52 Stratofortress Units in Combat 1992 to 2025 by Peter Davies with aircraft profiles and nose art by Jim Laurier. This volume examines the B-52's role post-Operation Desert Storm via interviews with bomber crews and new research. Images throughout display the venerable bomber in action, reveal payload details, and uncover features that have become part of this awesome aircraft continuously upgraded since 1952. You'll also find 22 color profiles, admittedly all of them gray, with close-ups of nose art for each of them. If you're interested at all in the B-52, Osprey's new volume would make a fine addition to your library.
Let's take a trip back in time to 1979 and Disney's release of The Black Hole, starring Maximilian Schell, Yvette Mimieux, and Ernest Borgnine. The movie was pitched as a disaster film set in space.
Seems a strange choice for a Disney film. No princesses, no cuddly animals. Even 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is an adventure movie.
You have to remember, though, disaster movies back then, in the late 70s and the early 80s, were big. Earthquakes, meteor strikes, high-rise fires. I mean, what could be better, bigger than a huge glass spaceship trapped in the gravitational pull of a black hole as a madman just rides it toward the event horizon?
Sure, Tim. Anyway, the film did break ground in cinematography and was even nominated for a few Academy Awards. It also created 2 memorable and lovable characters, Vincent and Bob.
And round 2 has now brought the MPC 1/6 scale V.I.N.CENT kit out of the vault. Round 2 used the original tooling for this kit, improving locators for a better fit than was found with the original run. The sprues are molded in gray, red, clear, and chrome-plated styrene, and there aren't many parts at all, not shocking for a kit of this vintage.
Assembly is easy enough, taking only 12 steps on the black and white instructions. You can choose to assemble V.I.N.CENT all closed up or with tools and arms extended. In fact, there is some playability that you can switch back and forth if you get tired of displaying V.I.N.CENT one way or the other.
The kit also includes a base and wire hanger to show V.I.N.CENT floating. A color list for Tamiya paints and painting guide is printed on the side of the tray. Round 2 also redesigned the decals, providing a more comprehensive set of markings than what the original kit contained.
There are other kits from the Black Hole that have been in demand for literally decades. The Evil Robot Max, and of course, the USS Cygnus.
Which is basically a high-rise turned on its side, and it is flying towards certain doom.
We'll see what more Round 2 has in store for us with this particular license. Look for reviews of the V.I.N.CENT, Hampden, and more model kits on FineScale.com.
Where you'll also find downloadable PDFs, articles, and videos with loads of scale modeling advice.
And make sure to visit shoptrains.com for a great selection of modeling tools, gifts, and books.
You know my philosophy about tools. They exist to make our lives easier. And usually when there's an add-on to a tool that a company comes out with that makes life easier, I am here for it. Now, I have been using Grex Airbrushes for a long time. I mean, this is the first Grex Airbrush that I had, and ignore the fact that he's a little bit dirty in some spots. It is well taken care of, maintained, and I use it quite a bit. This isn't a newer Grex Airbrush for me, but I like the quality. Grex has come out with what they call an airbrush side cup set. And when I saw this, I was excited. And you're gonna ask me why. And here's the reason. If you look at a side feed cup, notice it's rounded down here. You've got the channel there, and you know it connects right into the side by screwing it in, which is great. It's out of your way when you're airbrushing. You can clearly see whatever it is that you're painting. But let's say, as is often the case in my workshop, that I've mixed a custom paint, and I want to set that aside, do some other paint during the same painting session, and then come back to it. With this kind of side feed cup, what I am left with doing is either tossing the paint, which that's kind of wasteful, or finding a receptacle to put that paint into, setting it aside, clearing out the cup, clearing out the brush, putting the new color in, continuing to paint, then coming back to the old paint, clearing out the cup, yada, 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 right? Well, here's what's neat about these cups from Grex. You've got, you know, the interior, the channel right there, but they're flat on the bottom, which is really cool if I've got a custom color in here and then I want to switch out and go to another color. I can just set that aside, make sure I put that cap on here. I've got this little plug here. Plug that so the paint doesn't come flowing out. Put it off to the side. I can then switch out with a new color, and I can come in with the other paint cup, put the new color into it, and go ahead and spray, and then swap back and forth. So how do these things work? I mean, because as you're gonna notice, the connectors are very different from the cup that comes with the airbrush and these new ones. Well, the new ones come with this adapter that screws into the airbrush. And then you'll see that it's got a different hole there now that you just pressure fit the new paint cup into, and then on your merry way. When I got this Grex Airbrush set many, many years ago, it came with a siphon feed option. You can still get Grex Airbrush sets that have that option. However, this Genesis XSI3 did not come with a siphon feed option, just the side feed. So if you want a siphon feed option, the airbrush side cup set comes with an optional siphon feature, which operates, as you would expect, just like a siphon would, but using the connector that comes with the set. If I don't list the airbrushes that this set is compatible with, I'm gonna get dinged from you guys. So I'm gonna go right to the Grex website, which you guys can do too, but I'm gonna read it off here. This set is compatible with Grex Tritium TS, Genesis XSI, Genesis XT, and Genesis XS models. In addition, if you look right here on the side of the box, right down here, it says compatible with most Iwata side feed airbrushes. So what's cool is that this will not only work with Grex airbrushes, but Grex was thinking ahead and said, hey, let's make it work with some Iwata brushes too.
So we have show season starting up again, and we're going to be going to a lot of shows. What's the most recent one that you were at, Tim?
Let's see here. Last Saturday, which would have been March 7th, was the Mad City show in Madison, Wisconsin, which had 685 models on the contest tables, which is, that's quite a turnout. That's quite a turnout for, and it's not a regional IPMS show. So yeah, that's a lot. And we shot a bunch of photos, which will be on the show gallery on FineScale.com here in the immediate future. And we then shot some video, and here it is. Where's my coffee? Yeah, it's probably empty. Thank you, Kendra. If I can get the cap off. Struggling, still struggling. Oh my God.
All right, rolling.
Then we get right into it. I expect you to keep me in line. And what are you doing? You're just letting me do stupid stuff. We're gonna do that again.